for November 20... Let's try that again. 26, yes. Also, it's just the 6th. What time is it? Anyway, for November the 6th, 2022, this is Season 1, Episode 52 of It's Just a PC. You'd think I know the name of my own channel. Brought to you today by Founders Solid Gold, which in no way has paid or endorsed this channel. So, I know I said one stream a week. Here's the thing. Massive fuck up last night. Things were going very good, and I was wiring in character ROM after having made a new font character ROM. And here's the thing. I accidentally wired the whole thing into the CPU's address and data bus instead of the PPU's address and data bus because, you know, NES. Also, today my friend Vlad has been keeping me company. There's the word. So be prepared to, you know, expect that. Anyway, let's dive into it. Let's sippy sip. Post our crap on Discord so that the folks are well and aware. This is not boding well for tonight. My general rhetorical capacity not at its peak, but we will soldier on and try and at least make fewer mistakes than we did yesterday. Okay, here we go. Posting the thing. We're live. Okay, it's going. And there is Vlad. At least that will keep the video interesting and spicy. Wereworm says evening. A good evening to you, Wereworm. Okay, let's do this. Get off of this stupid crappy desktop. Who even needs that? We're working in hardware land today. The iron is already heated up. I just need to oh no. Wake up the baby, apparently. I think I just woke up the baby. I don't feel good about that. Anyway. Yes, marking what is PPU versus CPU. Dave says, wire it up. Derek says, here we go again. Both fully accurate assessments of the whole thing. Okay, so let me do that silly thing where I am heating up a pad and jamming this through so I can, because it's only labeled on one side, which is super fun. Let's see, so PPU D0 starts here. No, that didn't quite take. PPU D0. Which one is me? I think this is me. Okay, just barely visible. But that will do me. Wait, was that it? Oh my goodness. I can't even tell. This technique not working out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, I think that was it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes. Okay, so that's a D0. What even was I on last time? Let us look at the pinout again. I think I had started but not completed the data bus. Let us check the hallowed pinouts. Right, so like with every JEDEC thing ever, pin 11 starts data 0. And my pin 1 is over here. And so that means, oh no, I had finished the data bus. I had just finished the data bus. Right, excellent. Right, because I had my ground, 2, 1, and 0. So now I just have to, you know, run them to the right place. Soup's straightforward. And then I have to redo all of the address bus. And then, thankfully, my chip select stuff should be right. And what else? I think that's it. Except for more address bus stuff that I had not actually finished. But we will get there. Okay, which one did I mark? Right, it was over here. They should all be closer. That's the thing that should have stood out to me, was that I was doing kind of long wire runs and I had put the chip right next to the PPU section, and that seemed fine for some reason. So anyway, today, all soldering episode, which is always the most fun episodes. Also, the irony was, last time I was, complaining about, oh, I hope I don't desolder the wires that are already soldered in here. Yeah, that probably also should have been an indicator to me. Because there shouldn't be wires soldered in, because they're not on the same bus. Okay, anyway. There's D0. It's done. We're started. No, wait, now it's done. Yeah, better connection. Okay, moving on down the line. Where are you going, Mr. D2? No, D1. I mean, they should pretty much be in order, right? Right? I don't know. I put this together. You'd think I would remember. You would think a lot of things. Hopefully now I'm not desoldering shit from the other side. At least that seems consistent. D1 is going over here. Could have done this, off screen, but do you guys really want to miss that juicy content that I am well known for? I don't think so. Oh, come on, you bastard. I'm going for speed today. And getting none of it. Anyway, hope y'all had a good weekend so far. We had a pretty good one. Took kiddo to the zoo/aquarium today, which was awesome, because that's the first time we have taken our kid somewhere. Not like gone somewhere with the kid, but like taken the kid somewhere. So that was a hoot. Took him to look at fishes and stuff, and he seemed thrilled about the whole thing. So, great success in keeping children alive. Not at all related to this, I realize, but I don't fully understand why anybody really tunes in here. So, I assume it's for the juicy dad talk. Also wish I could get this camera closer up. I don't really have a good way of doing it. And I'd really want like a separate close-up cam and like desk cam, which I could theoretically do, but trying to get these webcams in tight, not easy. Oh my goodness, there is a good amount of chat. Let me double check now that I am done with that side of what I have done. Derek says, so glad the days of having to wait for the iron to heat up are long over, and glad I'm no longer using a $15 Radio Shack special. I got something for you. One moment. One of these. I have never opened this box. Granted, I've owned a couple of the Radio Shack El Cheapo soldering stations, but I got this when they were going out of business, and have never opened it. I wonder when it was manufactured. Because I can't even remember when Radio Shack went out of business anymore, but yeah. It's a dual heat soldering station. It's not even just a plug into the wall jobby, so there you go. Dave says, it's fine. Everything's fine. Dave says, I love my Weller WX1. I leave it soft on, so when when I hit the master power, it starts heating up, often up to temp before it finishes its boot up splash screen nonsense. That's pretty sick. Because I love my Hako, but like it takes a couple seconds to get up to heat. But it's way better than, you know, the Radio Shack Special, for sure. Where said, glad it's not a 64-bit console. You and me both. I really want to get around to making a 68K based system at some point, but that's a lot of frickin' bus lines. Redgex said Mr. R2D2, but I don't know the context. Wereworm says, oh, I mean, Derek says to Wereworm, those would have multiplex buses, so not that many more pins. Do they? Really? Really? Trey says, hey, yo, howdy, Joe. Good to see you, Trey. Redgex says, parasocial relationship? Pfft, paraparental relationship. Yeah, more like it. Dave said, we all join because we're gluttons for screaming at our TVs when things go off the rails. Good, that is the point. Derek said, no, that Radio Shack one looks too much like a Weller knockoff. Mine didn't have a stand and used a 2-prong plug. Yeah, they, I mean, this is just before they went out of business jobby. But, I know I definitely had one that was basically the iron that just went 2-prong into the wall. Don't think I have that anymore, but that was, I think my dad literally bought that soldering iron to make a stereo 1/4-inch patch cable for some audio equipment he bought us because he wanted us to do music. Because he wanted to Joe Jackson us, is the constant running joke. Not that he was in the position to do that, but he wanted, me and my sister were both into music stuff, and he kept Christmasing us studio things. Anyway, and that's the first time I saw anybody solder anything. And it was definitely, he went to Radio Shack because we didn't have a soldering iron, and he soldered it up. Redgex says, hey, while the iron heats up, you can wet the sponge and finish your beverage of choice. Alright. I am going to dive back into this because, of course, the soldering is always a fun and slow time. So, here we go. Back to it, while hoping that I'm not getting any, lead in my beverage. Thankfully, I'm full grown, so, it'll only make me a little stupid, not completely stupid. Just making sure. Let's see, so this has D0 through D3 on this side, so this should be triple checking my work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, that counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Excellent. Alright. And I only have one more. Yes. Until I have to move around to the other side. Yes, so this should be D3. Seems to me. Paranoia is keeping me from just following them from the card edge connector locations, even though they are explicitly in order. Oh, get out of here. Because hopefully, if I can get this done fast, we can still have a decent length stream. Maybe I can do something like, if this works first try. Yeah, let's give that caveat. Actually, like, changing up the rendering code to use the proper font map could be cool. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves, he said, whilst getting too ahead of himself. Alright, where does it pick up with D4? Directly across from D3. Easy peasy. Oh, I'm gonna have to tin these bad boys because I tinned all of the address and data lines on the backside here, you know, on the wrong ones last time. Well, I guess I should probably do that as well. So that's D3, D4, D5, D6, and D7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Apparently I went too far. What? 1, 2, 3. Wait. Yeah, no. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going insane. Oh, because I did D3. I did D3. Duh. D3 went around the bend on the chip, but it hadn't yet gone around the bend on the edge connector. Genius. So this is D4. I thought this was D3 because I am one off. Because someone is encouraging me to drink adult beverages, therefore further hampering my capacity to do reasonable work. Also, as far as parasocial relationships, firstly, very, very into the social science of parasocial relationships being a fascinating thing, mostly because last VCF, I got the cojones to go up and talk to LGR because I'm a huge LGR fan. And basically just told him, I basically just explained parasocial relationships to him poorly, but also not like that was not my intent. It's just, I just told him it's so fascinating that, you know, like, you're my friend, but I'm not your friend. He was like, yeah, dude. It wasn't like particularly embarrassing or anything. It was just like, didn't really bear saying, and that was the entirety of all I said to him with my time. So, yeah, social butterfly for sure. But then again, this is a scene of people who are generally not. So, but I do find the whole idea fascinating. But the thing I was going to add to that is with the scale that my channel's at. Most of at this point they're just social relationships. This is my buddy Red Geck that I talk to every now and then. Like there's what, like 10 of you guys that get on chat semi-regularly. Like I know you people. This is just a regular social relationship. Now granted, I'm sure, I know that there are some what's the word I'm looking for? People who, oh my god, this is such an old internet term, and as an old internet person, this shouldn't be difficult, but as you can tell, it's one of those nights. Lurkers, there we go. I'm sure there are lurkers. So there's your parasocial thing, is I have no idea who you are. But, whatever. I don't think there are many. Certainly not a lot of live lurkers. Because the people here, the people who are watching live, they show up in chat to tell me what I'm fucking up, so we keeps it social. Was that the whole thing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I am one short? What is going on with my brains? So this is D0, D1, D2, D3, D4, D5, D6, D7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I didn't count a pin. Right? Oh, Lord. Okay, I'm gonna probe this now, because my brains are in no state, and I just want to make sure things are friggin' connected. Prepare for beeps. Prepare for beeps, and then I shall check chat again, because I see some activity over there. Okay. DO. D1. D2. D3. Right, that's the one that really threw me. D4, D5, D6, D7, fucking fly. Okay, alright, I feel okay about that. Chat, and then we will unfuck address lines. So Dave was saying, before I stopped reading chat, oh, 80 through 8031 ALE byte enables, so not many more pins. I'd be interested to know what architectures you're thinking of in particular. I don't know anything about 64-bit platforms physically, so I go up to 16. Redgeck says, the context for R2-D2 is me joining, and you were saying something about the D1, D2 lines, or you have to remember I'm going to be like 10 minutes behind anything you say. Redgeck says, wait, you don't eat your rosin core leaded solder? Not recently. Not since I was a young man. That's one of the things that made me special. Dave says, I often wake up from dreams about eating PCBs and chips like they're crackers. Interesting. That may be a sign that you are spending too much time doing this. Not that there is any such thing. Trey says, I love the smell of rosin in the morning. Redgeck just says, nice, Dave. Trey says, if this works first try. Trey said, LGR and I ended up talking about steam bending veneer instead of using vinyl. See, that's a cool conversation. I talked to him briefly about MIDI stuff. I don't know. I'm bad at this. Redgeck said, my buddy Redgeck. Oh, you're making me blush. I don't know you personally. You might be a shithead. Who knows? Don't meet your heroes, as they say. I'm sure there is a similar saying for don't meet the people who follow you. So anyway, but I don't know. We chat. I know who you are. And he also said, I mean, this is how I talk to my IRL friends too. We just catch up once in a while and then go back to our lives for a few weeks. Yup. Indeed. All right, let's do some address lines. So we would be picking up at, the next one is going to be chip enable. So ignore. I guess I can probably mostly do these in order. Right? Just make sure I know where they are over here. Theoretically, this starts at... Sorry, just making sure I'm not crazy. No, that is ground. And I also grounded something that was my A13, right? And my right enable. Wait, no, my right enable is connected to VCC. Okay, right, so we actually hadn't connected up many address lines because of the wonderful things he does. Because they took a while because they're all over the place on the chip. But they are pretty straightforward on the cartridge. They are actually in order. So let us see. It is 1, 2, 3, or no, let's just, A11 is the second chip, or the second pin. So this should be A11. Wait, right, on the second row. A11, A10, A9, A8. And apparently those are the only ones that were wired up. I mean, does that make sense? That would be, so it's chip enable, then an address line, that's one address line. Output enable, then an address line, an address line, an address line, and then A13. So yeah, only 4. I only did 4 address lines, which matches up with what's over here. So fun. Oh, probably could because it was at the end of the stream. It seemed like it took so long last time, but it probably wasn't that long. So if this is A11, A10, A9, A8 is where I will start here. I don't need solder. I need these things. Words. Who needs them? Why use many word when few word do trick? And then, let's see. Where is a 0 on the PPU? It is directly adjacent to D0, or next to, not adjacent. And it goes up to A6, and then it hops across for A7, and then A8. Oakley dokley. Actually, this would be easier to do because... Actually, D7, then it's A13. So. I should be able to do... Yes, directly A13. So this is D7, then A13, A12, A11, A10, A9, A8, I think. I so don't trust my own brains. A13, 12, 10, 11, 9. What even? It was 8 that I was working on. Okay. Yeah. 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. Time for tinning things. Time for tinning pads and stuff. 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, and 8. And I think it went down to 7. Can I trust myself? Yes, it did. Super cool that it did. And 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. That I'll trace. Yay. Okay, back to trimming things. This was A8, which is the one next to A7. Yeah, that actually made things easier. Thank you, the working part of my brain. Alright, I'm just going to do the countdown again unless I can think of anything interesting to talk about. Alright, A8. Done. Or A9. Wait. Frick. No, A8. We're counting up. We're counting up. Oh, do-do-do-do. Now A9. Now A9. Now A9. Now A9. Now A9. Now 8, 9. 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 Has he lost it or is he just enjoying himself? What is the difference? Okay, there's a 9, as promised in song. And A10. A10 Warthog. A10. Wired. And A11 was the last one we had done. Apparently. What was this? No. 1, 2, 3, 4. That is CPU A13. Oh, right, which is I had used for output enable or chip select or whatever. No, I used that for chip select. We're using the PPU read-write, which is actually wired up correctly. So that can just hang out there. And A11. And then we have pretty much gotten back to where we were. So that's pleasing. We're getting there. This isn't so bad. Okay, there's A11, and then we'll do A13, and then we're out of things to fix. So I guess we'll have to start, you know, implementing things that haven't been done yet. A shocking idea. Okay, so that was 11, 12, 13. Also, it struck me, I mean, it would have been more complicated, but I kind of had the shower thought the other day, at the end of the day, or maybe it was today, during the day. I don't know. One of the others. One or the other. Doesn't really matter which one it was. Boy, I really should have just put an SRAM here. I could have just done... Why did I need to do a EEPROM? There's no need to do an EEPROM. I could have transferred my character set in from the program ROM and therefore not had to keep reprogramming the character ROM if I didn't want to. I don't know. I'm not a thinking man. Let us look at chat while I prep myself for doing the rest of this chip. Trey had said, "What's an IRL friend?" To which Redgeck said, "The rarest of humans." Dave says, you haven't gotten to the A0 through A7, which count up past D0. I just read that like it made sense, but I just realized that for some reason I can't parse that. Yes, I hadn't gotten to A0 through A7, but count up past D0? What? Oh, you mean physically on the chip. Duh. Redgeck says, "By the way, I'm a shithead because I'm procrastinating on my M60K project for a month now." Hey, here's the thing. If you're forcing yourself to do it and you're not having fun, then what's the point? Always remember that. Now, granted, kicking your butt a little bit or giving yourself a reason to get started can be a thing. But, like, you know, it's not like you didn't accomplish anything if you never end up doing that. I believe in you. You're a capable person. Probably. Maybe I can start it back up by shaving a bit and 3D print a solder fume extractor. I already got the filter. Boy, I should probably get one of those someday. Redgeck says, "Did I tell you the story of soldering a PLCC socket with magnet wire and having one pin shorted only when I inserted the chip, but not when it was out?" I feel like you have mentioned the PLCC and magnet wire, but maybe not that particular part of the story. That sounds absolutely infuriating. Trade MC said, "Do it about something." Redgeck said, oh, I think he's talking to Redgeck. Whoops, I see. Redgeck continues the story with, "Well, it turns out that I stuck the magnet wire so much through the hole, it went into the socket, and there was an itty-bitty wire poking in the socket." Woof. Woof. Oh, I had a similar bug with, I think it was the 65816 machine, where I had been trying to probe some of the pins with my logic analyzer to figure out why something wasn't working, and I had to do it on the CPLD, because those lines, I guess, weren't available conveniently elsewhere. I don't really remember why. And so what I ended up doing was I was like, oh, it looks like I can take a header and I can just shove it in to the socket next to the pins and it'll wedge in there nicely and make contact, and it worked perfectly. And then I finally figured out what my issue is, pulled it out, and then, like, you know, quit for the day. And went back to it whenever I went back to it, and everything was going wrong. It wasn't working. I could not figure out why. You know what it was? Because when I shoved that in, like a dingus, it bent all of the contacts, so now they half flakily did not make contacts to the chip anymore. and I could not trace it down. I could not figure it out for the longest time, and then I felt like such a dingus. I can't remember what I did to solve it. If like I actually had to end up physically bending the pins back or something, or the contacts, not pins. Yeah. All right, Kick says, all right, Trey, next time I'm in chat, ask me about the fume extractor. If I haven't done it, call me a shithead. Do it. You're not a shithead, though. I mean, probably. Probably. You haven't said a particularly shitheaded thing so far, in this situation, so you're good by me so far. Just don't, show me your collection of Hitler memorabilia. Keep that to yourself. Okay, and now we are starting on the A0 through A7, as Dave mentioned, which again should actually be nice and easy breezy, because those start here and they just go around here, and then there you go. So, well, I'm gonna do that. Head down. Goodbye. A0 to A0. I mean, Red Geck, you've worked on SBC projects before, right? I can't remember, because I feel like you talked a lot about personal projects quite a ways back, and then I don't remember what you've said, because, frankly, like, starting with an M68K, if you are, I would not start there. The M68K is awesome, but also, if you haven't done an SBC before, doing everything for that bus is kind of a pain. I don't know, maybe it shouldn't really be that bad, but my story is that I have told before, but I always wanted to build an SBC of some sort, and when I finally had a little bit of money when I got my first big boy job, I bought a bunch of parts, including a couple of 68Ks, and was going to build a 68K machine, and it just ended up being too much for some reason. I don't really know if it was too much of a design challenge for someone who hadn't done something like that before, or I don't know. But it just never ended up happening. And I never ended up building one until the 65816 machine. Truly. You might think that that was like one of the machines I've done. No, the 65816 single board computer is the first that I ever got to any like reasonable level of completed. Now, granted, it's because I bought the parts, and then at the time I was in a band and could not decide if I wanted to spend my time doing electronics and computery shit, or if I wanted to focus on the band. And I mostly focused on the band and didn't take a lot of time to do the computery shit, so that's probably mostly why it didn't happen. And I was doing the band stuff up through when I moved to New York, and lived in New York, and clearly was in New York doing band-y stuff. And I started on the 65816 machine right around the time that I quit the band and was about to move back to Michigan. So maybe it was a time thing. It's tough to say, but I feel like having to do the 65816 because I blew up my 68Ks was kind of a godsend because it was so simple. But anyway, this is all going on the predication that you have not, in fact, done an SBC before, which is probably not accurate. What am I on? So that was D2, D1, D0, A0, A1, A2. Okay, just making sure I'm keeping track of where I am at. Red Geck says, no, my 68K project is my first DIY computer thing. The only hardware stuff I did before was ESP stuff. I am a software guy. I had to learn KiCad for this M68K. I would also recommend, I mean, you can KiCad up your stuff, but I like doing the prototyping stuff by hand when I haven't done it before, because then when it's not working, and I'm not sure of the design issue, I can just probe shit and go, oh, it's because I have the wire going to the wrong place or whatnot, and then just desolder and redo. So, would highly recommend doing that. But also, seriously, I recommend... Everybody does a 68K machine, but there's a reason for it that I didn't really realize until I built my 65816 machine. And that's because it's stupid easy to interface to a 6502, so... like even with just a regular 6800, you have to deal with, are you making your data bus 8 bits wide or 16 bits wide? Handling low writes and high writes, because it's on the regular 6800 DIP whatever package, DIP 64. I remember that being the pain in the butt that kind of turned me off of it. Is it's a 16-bit physical bus on that thing, but of course you can do 8-bit transfers, and if they're not aligned, then you might be reading 16 bits off that bus, but you're reading the byte that you're reading is off the top, the most significant byte of that or whatnot, and the 65 or the 68K actually indicates on a pin which one it's reading from. Not such a big deal for memory, kind of a big deal for decoding peripherals sometimes. So that freaked me out partially, and probably one of the reasons that I stopped working on it. But hey, I mean, more power to you if you get it all working on the first try. And I shouldn't be fear-mongering, like, if this is a thing you want to do. I don't think it's impossible, it's just a bit of a challenge. And more power to you. And again, I haven't done a 68K project yet. Still haven't. Firstly, because I blew up my 68Ks. I won't tell that story again. It's somewhere back in the archives. Oh, actually, I told it in the 65816 machine video that everybody loves so much. But yeah, so, and then... I'll have to look again. I haven't looked in a while, but it feels like at the time that I was looking for them again, you really couldn't find the DIP 64 or 68Ks. New. And that's why I went with 65816. So that's another reason I haven't done a 68K machine. But I got eBay PGA 68Ks and PGA sockets, which again, actually, this is all included in that video from like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. God, who knows? Someone knows, because they could just look at the upload date on the video and they could tell me. But anyway, so maybe at some point, but I have those, haven't gotten started, so I can't say much about building an M68K based machine, because I ain't done it. All I know is I tried starting mine, and then at some point a while after that, the one of the guys at Hackaday decided to start, around the time that Hackaday IO started, or Hackaday IO? Is that what it's called? I don't know. Dave, you have an account there. Is it Hackaday IO? Anyway, right around the time that started up, he put a project on there and started doing a series of articles on building his 68K machine, and pretty much got it free running. And then there was the first article about getting it free running, there was a second article, and then he never posted any other articles or updates. Probably, again, just because he's a person who doesn't have time. But it makes me wonder if it's because 68Ks are more daunting than people think they're going to be. But, such a beautiful ISA that it seems worth it to me. Okay, one more to do on this side of the cartridge connector. Then I will sanity check to make sure, because I haven't been counting, that it actually lines up. I suppose no reason that it wouldn't, but I always need to do sanity checks because I lack a certain amount of sanity. Okay, so this should be a 6, I believe. let's give it the old count check, the oldest check in the book. So that was A0, A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, A6. We are right on track, and then it's just going to be A7, and then I'm done with that run. And then it's A12 and ground A14, and we're done. We're done? Really? I connected up VCC? I did. Wow. Okay. 3 pins and we're done. Amazing. I'm just going to press on instead of reading chat. So sorry. And then we'll fire it up and watch it not be quite right. Or even better, watch it be right-ish. I'll be like, oh, there looks like some stuff. But it will actually all be... I'll have had like some address lines wrong. And when I actually try and display text after feeling like I got it, it will not work correctly. That is my anticipation. Again, as always, taking bets. Betting is now open for how exactly this goes wrong. All right, that is A7. Next is A12, which is a legit line. The other possibility is that I did, in fact, accidentally desolder some things on the other side that were for the program space, and it don't boot no more. Or it does for a while, and then it starts being flaky because I start using addresses that weren't decoding properly, and then it takes a poop. Yeah, 12. It's the only one unpopulated. For a second, I was like, that can't be right, but it can, because we're using A13 for the chip selection. Okay. A12, donezo. And finally... Oh, also there's the... take bets on... what the odds are that the PPU bus is running at sufficient speed that this is going to be noisy as hell and cause terrible results. I mean, it's not like it's reading program data, so it can't be that bad. If it's noisy, it'll just be a little noisy. Right, and then we are just grounding A14. Do I have another ground I can attach? Well, I guess I have this whole ground around the edge, don't I? There is this ground across the board that I'm going to use, because why not? There's probably a good reason why not. Tell me in the comments. That is a ground. That is a ground. I have run a ground. Run a ground. Get it? Okay. That's it. Except unless I wanted to add like a decoupling cap, which, live life by the seat of your pants. Short of fixing program bus stuff, that's it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do this. That is the right the right way up, right? Tis. And the wires are keeping it down. That is actually kind of awesome. Okay. We're actually all plugged in and ready to go, I think. Wow, yeah. I'm not used to, now that I'm streaming once weekly, I'm not used to things just being set up and ready to go. Let's bring the video capture back in, wherever it went off to. There it is. And let's fix it, because God knows it probably needs to be fixed. Okay. We're about ready to hit go, but I am not going to do that until I have read a little bit of chat and given you the anticipation. Oh, Lord. About a page of stuff. All right. Redkick said, blowing up my 68Ks, this is why I bought 2 of them. I'm still not really sure how I blew mine up in retrospect. Like, after doing all this shit, I don't really know how I blew them up, and I don't remember. And the annoying thing is, I had 2, and then, like, if I remember correctly, I went to, my memory is unclear. It could have been in one of 2 ways, and they both suck. I want to say it was that I had 2, they migrated out to New York, I figured I still had everything, then I decided to start working on that project again after several years, and I stuck it in the breadboard. I stuck one in the breadboard, did something, figured out it was fried, went, oh shit, then went to my bin and was like, well, it's a good thing I have that second one, and the second one was nowhere to be found. I think that's what happened. Might have also been that I just blew one up and then immediately blew the other one up. I can't remember. That second one sounds much more infuriating, but I don't think it's true. Trey had said, who hasn't tried to start a band? Nerds, Trey. Nerds. That's why I'm not a nerd. I tried to start a band. No, that's everybody. Redgeck said, my EE friend spooked me out of doing it on breadboard. But I did free run it on breadboard. Your EE friend probably isn't wrong, but in my non-EE experience, I also being a software guy, there's a ladybug on my desk. Oh, that's adorable. It's always been my understanding and my experience that running up to a couple megahertz on a breadboard is really fine. Like, you won't encounter any problems. It's going much higher than that you start to have issues. But yeah, running stuff even up to like 6 megahertz, in my experience on a breadboard, no problem. So as long as you're like running it at low speed. But also I only did minimal breadboarding of my 65816 machine. I don't remember exactly how much because it's been forever since I started that one, but like, I did just enough to kind of understand how the bus operated, and then I just was like, F it, let's just start building, and went for it, and that worked out pretty well. But I never had any issues. They can be flaky with plugging stuff in, but eh. Yeah, Redgeck says, yeah, you don't even have the 0th address bit because of it reads in words. And that his M68Ks are definitely not new, and I think they were relabeled, but they seem to free run. Yeah, that's the best you can hope for. Relabeling doesn't matter if they do what you ask them to. Derek says, back in college I stumbled upon a whole tube of 68Ks and got all sorts of crazy ideas for doing something with them. Of course, I never did anything with them at all. That is a crying shame. But also, I can't be too sad because you are the guy who had access to a VAX 11780 or whatever. You had all the fun toys. Redgeck said, I actually did like 70 to 80% of the schematic based on what I want to do, but I have no idea how wrong it all is because I'm a bit of a dummy when it comes to hardware. I think I will do a little breadboard run. Would recommend it. Generally, I feel like if you're gonna do, from working with doing some hardware stuff with the Genesis, I feel like if you're just gonna do some ROM and some RAM, you need some kind of I/O. But as long as your I/O thing is, 16 bits wide, it shouldn't be too bad. Because like for the Genesis, on the cartridge connector, you do get the low and high signals. You know, the select the low byte of the word, select the high byte of the word. And you just wire them up to the chip select of your, you know, you do your chip select logic, and then you just wire them up to the chip select of the low ROM and the high ROM and the low RAM and the high RAM, and you're good. That just works totally fine for me. You didn't need to do anything special. And then, yeah, like for a peripheral, as long as 16 bits wide, I think my fear-mongering is not warranted. Oh, and Regic said, damn, Derek, you still have them? And I've seen some of the M68K abandonware projects on Hackaday, but I also seen so many amazing projects like the not Artyom one. Not familiar. Drop it in the Discord if you happen to find a link, because I'm not familiar. And Derek said, no, not in my personal collection. They were part of the pile of stuff in my college's electronics club, which I think is long since no more. Sad day. Hopefully they went to someone good. And Derek also says, I do have a big lot of 68HC11E2 microcontrollers I bought off eBay many years ago, but I suspect those are of less interest. Oh, I was wondering, because I didn't look into it and I didn't look at the comments, but on Tech Tangent's recent little bit about the serial to PS2 box, if anybody's seen that, he popped it open and he was like, is this a 68K in here? And I assume that's a 68K microcontroller, probably related to that. The only reason that I ask is because I have to imagine they are probably similar things, what was in there and what you have talked about. And I don't know much about 68K based microcontrollers, but I know, I mean, like, obviously for Palms later in the day, they had, you know, the was it Coldfire and something. But the 68K like SoCs that they use in the Palm Pilots, and many other things. So I assume that there are probably 68K based microcontrollers, and you have confirmed it. So I assume that's what was in that, and I would be very interested to play with some 68K microcontrollers. Radagek says, I see, oh well, I have a list of ideas to do, and I don't think I'll ever do it all either. That's the way it goes. I feel like if you don't die with unfinished projects, are you even really living? Don't answer that question. You can live your life however you want. Murray Smith says, lol, addresses not decoding properly. I can say I've done that before. If you haven't decoded addresses improperly, are you really living? Yes, you can live however you want. Gerald, who I haven't seen in a while, says, 20 Quaaludes. No. 20 Quachloos. I'm getting garbage text. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't get the Star Trek reference on that one. Or Simpsons. Oh, and Dave says, yeah, getting on board with this. This is why me and Dave hang. I have to get around to building a computer around the PDP J11 CPU. A friend of yours procured for me. I can't remember if you had told me that you had one before, but that's been a thing that I just always thought would be super, super freaking cool. Yes. Trey says, I play a nerd on TV. Redgeck says, I bought 5 megahertz clocks specifically, so it's not too high for breadboard, but I hope to use 10. I bet you could totally get away with it, but you might see some flakiness, but just expect flakiness. Dave says, there were ISA breadboards for prototyping. The ISA bus originally ran at 4.77. Yeah, at this point, I don't know if we're... when you're saying breadboarding, to me, breadboarding is using a... You know, this ladybug, I'm sorry, it's in my way now, is like using a solderless breadboard for like point-to-point wiring. You should even be able to get away with a little bit faster, especially if you use decoupling caps judiciously, because it's just better. The thing that I understand about breadboards is the two big issues are, if you're doing a fairly large-ish scale project, you know, obviously the reliability of your connections is a little questionable, possibly. But also, the board itself has a lot of capacitance because it's all a bunch of strips of metal right next to each other, and that can screw with stuff. That is my understanding, so. Redgeck had said, that sounds awesome, David, about the ISA boards. Jacob David Cunningham says, Ladybug. It is gone now. Trey said, I thought it was a 6800 MC. Oh, was it? I see. I'll have to look at that again. I would love to. I'm sure tons of people said in the comments what the heck it was, knowing his audience, but Derek said, yeah, the 68HC11 is an 8-bit microcontroller that was very popular in the embedded world in the 90s. Oh, it's 8-bit, eh? Oh, because it's a 6800. I'm putting it all together now. It's a 6800 based microcontroller. Well, that's not as fun as a 68K based microcontroller, but still. Oh, and I got it. Redgex says I got it right with Coldfire, apparently. Cool. Go me. Oh, Redgex says I'm not using Discord. Sorry. That's fine. That's the only place I can get links. I don't need you to be there, but if you want to drop links, that's kind of the only place. Trey said, right, Coldfire is an extension of the M680, 60, and beyond. Oh, I didn't know they actually, like, improved the cores. That's interesting. Gerald says, PDP-11, nice. Dave said, Kyle had a few dozen J11s a few years ago at VCF Midwest at the old hotel. That must have been a time. That must have been a time. I am very curious to see what VCF is like next year. Like, I've only been to 2 years, and already it was like the difference between this year and last year was crazy. Still a good time, just wow. And Dave said solderless breadboard. Oh, they had ISA solderless breadboard prototyping cards? That's dope. And yeah, yeah, I'm talking solderless plastic junk capacitor, so there I am ranting about something that I don't need to be ranting about. And Dave is laughing at something that I said probably 2 seconds ago that I don't know, as is par for the course. All right, to keep suspending the anticipation, I'm going to go grab another beer, and I'll be right back. And then we'll fire this thing up and see if we get some reasonable garbage on the screen. Here we go. You ready to blow it up? Oh, that was that red kick. Fine, I'm taking too much credit. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Is it making sound? I find it concerning that the white is taking up the entirety of the screen. I would expect garbage. I'm curious, let me take out the ROM. Oh, interesting. Oh, I only clear the screen. Firstly, I would expect a black border, but I don't know, maybe not. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe that makes sense. Maybe it's fine. Though still, it's not like I have a solid color. Dave says that's about the kind of screen I get. Oh no. Oh no. So I think it's executing. Rick says, wait, you guys get a screen? Okay, interesting. I'm wondering if we should be doing some logic analysis on this bad boy. So yes. I think what I should do is write some code. Or rather, let's just restore my code. So at the very least, I should have, if the code is running right, it should be attempting to not just clear the screen, but to put some different characters on the screen. Oh, actually, you know what? You know what? This might make sense, because if it's all, this might be good. It might be right. So as long as my fears are not founded about the border not being black, Which actually... No, the border isn't black, because the border is the background color. I think this might be working. Sorry, Dave, but I think this might be working, because I forgot, for the weird way that I was dealing with that font, I had actually set white to the background color and black as the foreground color, and I was basically using... the characters were masking out the background color. Yeah, so, yes. I think if we restore the regular code and let's get rid of, well, okay, let's do 2 steps. Restore the original code, you know, let it proceed. And also test that, expect to get some kind of, well, maybe not necessarily Garbo, because, okay, we might just have to do it all in one shot. Let's just do it all in one shot, because I can't remember what, like, range of tiles are being used, but it might just all be empty tiles, even when it's trying to put characters on the screen. So, scratch that. Let's do it all at once. Where is my source? Give me my source. Here is my source, of course, of course. Alright. And we're going to want to skip floppy things. And I'm going to leave the APU code. Here, I'm going to leave the init APU. And I'm going to leave the play square A code. But I am just going to init the APU and not do anything with it yet. And then I'm going to need to jump to... Or, you know what, let me just move this code, because there's no reason I can't just move it. Which is funny, because I have to jump over this anyway, so... Oh well. Let us go down, 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 to wherever we have commands and stuff. I think we are there. Because we're at floppy drive commands. Yes? Yes. Okay. So blah 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 blah. Right above FTC in it. Let's throw it there. And APU, do, get rid of that. That's fine. Someday I will normalize the uppercase versus lowercase labels in this code, but let's just not talk about that for right now. Alright, so it's the APU, and then we're going to jump over... Actually, can we just jump into the monitor? Yes, we can just do jump in it. I will make myself a comment. Temp. Skip. Trying to boot the floppy, because we don't have it for now. Jump in it. Cool. Alright, so that should be that. And, oh, but I do need to change the palette. So let's go up to the palette setting code, because that is going to matter. Right. So this is wrong. The universal background is not black. So 3F00, that's the palette location, or however that works. And then we are storing 20 at 2007, which actually I should just be able to look at our YY chart, because that had all of the colors in it. And let's see what. Yeah, 20 is white. Look at that. 20, white. I actually want my background color to actually be black. So let's do OF. I can't remember. I feel like there is an unsafe black that you're not supposed to use, because it actually makes the video circuitry output a below video signal level, like a blanking level signal. Oh, you know what? I can just steal the one that I'm using elsewhere. Alright, so that's set the first palette color as white, and then, which I'm keeping because I think I set the, I'm using white as, expecting white as the first palette color on everything. Then 1D is my black level, apparently. Cool. So I will keep 1D on these, but I just need to swap. This should be 1D. This should stay at 20. And that should be my palette all fixed up to actually match what I just did in my font. And now we just have to update the print character code. So for starters, let's just entirely get rid of... Where is my tables? Char lookup table. So I will kill this. I will kill the linker thing that describes the area of memory that this is in because it doesn't exist anymore. So there's that out of here. Then let us edit the link.cfg, get rid of that because character LUT is no longer a thing. And then back to basic.sm. Let us look for charlut. No, CHRlut. Yes. And this code is now going to not need to look up the LUT. It is just going to literally... Oh my god, I can literally just remove these lines. Here's the question. Well, I can just put a compare in here because the load A would set this BEQ if it was in fact 0. But we're not doing... Oh, you know? No, this should still work fine. Sorry. Anyway, wait. Oh yeah, this is a little bit weird. No, it was tingling in the back of my brain. It is going to be a little bit weird because for regular characters, I can just use whatever's in A, not do this lookup thing. But for the check control, it's doing BEQ to check control if the lookup table value returns 0, because we have zeros in the lookup table everywhere that it's not a printable character. But we're not going to be passing in a 0 here. We're actually going to be passing in the thing. But I think we could just do a like a compare against 20, and if it's less than, or hex 20, and if it's less than that, do check control. I think that might just work. Maybe, hopefully. Hopefully, maybe. Maybe? Hopefully? We'll find out. I'm curious how... Let me look at check control, because I don't remember how... So it transfers X into A. So I'm trying... How the heck it saves the character? Is this broken? Because it's passing the character code in A. Oh, no. Yeah, it's in X for the lookup, and it stays there. Derp, derp, derp. So actually in check control, I do need to not do TXA. We can just do a compare. That's fine. And yeah. So here, get rid of this. Going to be in A, so we'll just do a compare against should I compare against 1F or 20? There's the question. Let me start with 20 on this assumption, and if it is less than is what I'm going to want to do, but that is not super straightforward on the 6502. You have to remember what flags are going to trigger that scenario. Where's my 6502 reference? Okay. So compares, it's going to do a subtract. Oh, right. So I can think that through easy, because compare does subtract, doesn't set the value, but sets the flags. And if it is less than the compared value, that would mean that it would subtract hex 20 from whatever's in the accumulator. So it should be if the negative flag is set. We don't care about the 0 flag. That would be if it's equal. It would be break negative, or branch on negative, which is, what the heck is that? Branch if negative. Because it's not BNE, is it? Branch on minus BMI. BMP? No. BMI. So that makes sense, right? Compare against literal 20. If it's less than 20, then we're going to check to see if it's a control character. Otherwise, we just go ahead and use what's in A. Load Y screen address +1. I'm sure this is fine. I just don't remember what this does now. Oh, is that the... Right. Sorry, this is like my character pointer and stuff. And then 2006 and 2007 are the FIFO into the PPU memory. So I think that's it. Because at this point, we would be expecting the value to be an A, and at, let's see, at check control, which is the other branch of this, we were expecting it to be in A, and there was a transfer X back into A command here, and we got rid of that, so we're just using what's in A, so good? I don't know, let's find out. Grip it and rip it, as the man says, and that man is me. Okay. I'm going to program this, and then I'll read this next page of chat that I have. I see AIO Incorporated is here now. Good to see you. I know you were saying you were going to make it. Programmer. I'm back. Let's use a different kind of EEPROM, because, of course, I can't just have one kind of EEPROM here. That would be too straightforward. 29E010? Ha ha ha. Remembered it off the top of my head. Load. Browse. Shoot, I hope I select the right thing. Basic.bin, hopefully, is the one that has been properly injected. Though actually at this point, that doesn't matter anymore, does it? Oh no, the injector thing is only for injecting the basic.bin into the Super Mario's ROM. Right. It's not. The other way around. Right, that's not a problem. So that should be that. Did I offset my offset? Yes, I did. Program it up. Wait, I almost did it, guys. Check ID off. Off. Check ID off. Okay, so here's where I was going to say. Back over here to the bench, grab the chip, put it in the ZIF socket, and then again, the anticipation. Lock that in, grab my beer, grab my water, tuck in to read some commentos. Red Keck said, "God damn it, I got that wrong on the, I'm sorry, Dave, I can't let you do that." Nobody is going to check on you. We'll believe you. Wareworm said, I have some Z8000s, but never got around to doing something with them. Firstly, I forgot Z8000s are a thing. And that sounds pimped, because it's basically, is it roughly ISA compliant? Because it's a 16-bit extension to the Z80, right? But is it just a complete new processor, or is the instruction set similar? Anyway, forgot those were a thing. That may be dope. Never saw someone else using them, so maybe not worth it, or just too obscure? Probably too obscure, because I forgot they were a thing. Red Kick said, too obscure, all the more reason to do something with it. See, that's exactly what I'm thinking right here at this moment. AIO Incorporated said, oh hey, you're still live once I got home. I started extra late just for you. That's not true. I was laying on the bed watching YouTube. AIO Incorporated said, almost all of the non-printable ASCII codes are less than hex 20. Yeah, trust me. I know. I've been doing that hack for a long time. And then several comments on whether or not I am doing the fixes to my character printing routine properly. The one good question that is on there, I mean, not that the other ones are bad questions, but the one that is not addressed immediately in my head is check control restoring the accumulator on return. And I don't think so. I think it doesn't matter. I don't think we are caring. The one place that I was thinking maybe we did was because of the DOS 65 stuff. You have to make sure you retain the accumulator, but in the code that I had been writing for that, that was handled external to the actual character printing command here. So I don't think it restores it, but I don't think it matters either. So that's that. Now with AIO Incorporated here as my witness, let's do it. Shit. No, I just turned that PSU off. This is very confusing because I have two switches to power this thing on. Cool, now it just does nothing. That's good. That's great. Huh. Are we back to, hey, maybe we need to use a logic analyzer? Let me take a peek at something. This, and these were all using the first color of my palette. I think that's how it works. Because 00 is always your background color. Then 01 is your first thing. First hack. Let me try turning all of the non-background palette colors to white, just in case. Is it trying to initialize the keyboard? I have nothing plugged in. It should just not. Let's plug in the keyboard just for fun. That's probably not it. But maybe it's sitting there trying to initialize the keyboard and not doing it. That doesn't make sense though, because we had already gotten to the point where we were outputting sound, and that was in the same spot where I was playing around. But we can try really quick. I'm sure this won't make a difference though. But the keyboard hasn't been plugged in for a while, so might be fun. Okay. Still nothing. Oh. Oh, fancy. You think it's because my my ROM is too slow? It's probably because my ROM is too slow. That potentially sucks ass. Well, Dave, I think I'm running into your same issues. Fascinating. It's almost like my code is just screwing up because it's like the second I hit a key. No. Okay, that's different. But it's like it just throws a shit fit. Dave says we need you to design you a case for the keyboard. I know. I highly agree. It should be built out of plywood. Okay, now it's not doing anything. Yeah. Like, that doesn't seem like it's a PPU issue. Right? Am I crazy? Okay, so like that, for instance. What the fuck's going on there? Like, it being noisy doesn't shock me. But the fact that it, like, kept changing there for a while... Oh, what the fuck? We got a hyphen. Maybe the keyboard code is all fucked up. I mean, like, potentially the PPU also fucked up, but, when I reset it, it actually gave me a goddamn hyphen. That is fascinating. Oh, did I turn off the keyboard code? No, because it's doing stuff. This is fascinating and confusing. I do think there is something wrong with the program ROM. Well, not necessarily the ROM. Potentially the connection. Oh, which just leads to the question, do I want to logic analyze this? What do I want to do? That is a cool effect, though. I very much enjoy that. But it seems to be pretty stably showing a bunch of different characters from the ROM, so... Whatever, dude. I'm fine with that. Yeah, it's almost like the program ROM is slow. Because when it first starts up, well, I mean, then you'd think it wouldn't work entirely. But like when I cold start it, takes a shit. Then when I do a restart, it hops. There, no problem. I might just call it for now because like this roughly works, but we'll need to do another session next weekend debugging. But I should probably get to bed. And this looks like it's roughly working, but possibly we still have some things to debugulate. Oh, wait. Here's a dumb question. No, tisn't. I was wondering if it was because this cartridge is not, like, plugged in well. That wrong code is neat looking, though. What is it doing? Why are you doing that? I don't know. I will watch it all day, though. So interesting. I'm sorry, I'm just mesmerized. There's nothing I'm going to do about this right now, but it's very interesting. Like, the fact that those characters are gray in places indicates to me, yeah, probably something wrong with... Oh, you know what, actually? I was about to say probably something wrong with my PPU shenanigans, my PPU ROM. And again, the noisiness, maybe? But actually, I think the grayness, now that I'm looking at it, I'm wondering if it's because the bad code is overwriting overriding PPU memory. Or the attribute memory in the PPU. I'm wondering. Anyway, this is interesting and fun. Now I'm just wiggling the cartridge for no good reason. It's fun. But yeah, I don't think that's because of the character ROM, the grayness. I think that is because of attributes. If I had to guess. And I do. It is legally required. I wonder if I got any broke pins. Things that just aren't in right. Things that didn't solder correctly over there, like I kept saying repeatedly. I don't know. Anyway. Right. So Dave points out, I'm going to read backwards, but Dave points out PPU A0 through A7 and D0 through D7, or D0 through 7 are muxed. So they're demuxed by the time they hit the cart, though, right? Yeah. Because they're both there, so duh. Yeah, but that might be causing weird addressing things. Train MC said, yup, worked first time. Perfectly. Renegade says plywood. Make it look like OG TV typewriter with nice two thick planks of wood. Let me finish my beer as we are closing this out. And I'm reading the chatola. Whatever you guys come up with, whatever the vote is, we will do a keyboard case. AIO says, noisy could just be the cable, but I think this is a code error. I'm agreeing. Dave says that looks like you have some stack issues or something. Yeah. Agreed. AIO said try keys like shift return. No. not that it's a bad suggestion, just I'm done. Wareroom said emulator time. Yeah, probably. I'm gonna have to update injector to make a ROM. This is gonna be weird because so my injector script was taking the Super Mario Bros. 3 ROM and injecting my own program code into it. But now, since I'm not using that ROM, and there kind of really is no mapper on here, I would have to figure that out because the cartridge or the ROM files for NES emulators specify the mapper chip that they use, and that specifies what emulation is selected inside of the NES. And so this doesn't correspond to any mapper chips or anything, so like, would I have to extend it? Is there a good hack that I can do? I don't know. I'll have to think about this. Yeah. AIO said could be a slow ROM. Maybe it's loading the wrong address on Bootstrap. Yeah, right? Like, that's almost what it looks like. Dave said, low byte of the address being written to the name table. Oh, is that what's up? And that is potentially related to the multiplexing? Red Kick said, this is amazing glitch art. AIO said, I'm glad I came in time to see that masterful error on screen. Yeah, Dave is just mentioning the layout of the NROM header. 16 bytes, then program ROM and character ROM, and that 16 bytes says what version is this, what mapper does it use, bloody bloody blah. AIO says, mapper only should change with how the ROM is attached for now. You could use mapper 0 if you wanted for that. Yeah, I was wondering, because technically is this set up to be mapper 0? I think this is effectively a mapper 0 situation. Because I don't think I'm really doing any decoding. I believe I was just, last we did, this was just passing the ROM select through to the ROM. So yeah, this is... I assumed that there was a no mapper. So probably that. So maybe that is what we do next time, is just run the emulator, make sure it is in fact a hardware issue. really a toss-up to me at this point. I mean, again, clearly there's at least some issue in both parts. Mapper 0 is 32K program ROM plus 8K character ROM attached directly. Yeah, as far as I remember, that's exactly what we're doing right now. Dave said, same thing. And AIO Incorporated says it's what original Super Mario Brothers uses. Interesting. Very interesting. Anyway, like I said, it's 10 o'clock where I am on a Sunday night, so I am going to call it, but we're making progress. This is plugged in. It is doing things. And I am already one more stream into the week than I said I was going to. So I will see you guys again next weekend, and we'll figure out what's going on here, and then get back to writing software, hopefully. See you guys around. Thanks for hanging. Always good to see you, and as always, see ya, love ya,